What's up, guys? It's Sam. Today I want to talk about what you should do with your stimulus check and some different options for you to invest it or save it and stuff like that. So first, before we get started, I just want to say that as of now, it looks like we'll be getting about $1,200 or so per individual if you're an adult and you're not dependent. So that is a good amount of money. I think they've done this before and it was much less significant than $1,200. And I see some different opportunities for what you can do with that money. Before we start this, if you don't mind going down and liking the video, it helps me out and I appreciate it. So before we get started, I want to say that I'm going to go through the least risky option all the way to the most risky option, but I think with everything in life, there's risk reward to it. So overall, the more risky options are probably much better long term, but obviously they might be worse in the short term. So the first thing you can do is put the money towards an emergency fund. So if you don't have any savings or you're in a risky business that's affected, you might have to use this money just for your day-to-day life. I'm lucky in that my job is essential, so I don't plan on being laid off at all. And if I am, I have enough money sitting around to last me for a couple months, especially since looks like it's going to be short term. If you have enough money to last 3 or 4 months, I would say that's probably long enough, because most people are only being laid off for 3 weeks or a month or 2 months because they're closing down states for a very short amount of time. If that provides you peace of mind just to put it in a savings account or your checking account, I'd do that. The second thing you can do is pay off some loans. This is good for the long term because you'll have to pay less interest, especially if you have more than like a 6 or more percent interest loan, especially if you have like credit card debt or payday loans or something. Get rid of that right now. But if you have something that's 6 to 8% maybe you'll consider putting your money towards the loans. Overall, that would, if you have a 6% loan and you put $1,000 towards it of the $1,200, that would save you about $60 a year in interest. So that's a good solution too. It's right in the middle of riskiness. It's not necessarily making the most out of the money, but long term it's always good to have less debt. So that's a solid way to do it. The next thing that is what I'm going to do is use that money to invest. I pulled up an investment calculator here to show you how significant a $1,200 check could be. If you're someone like me that's 24, let's say I retire at 65, or I just don't touch the money until I'm 65, I have a 10% rate of return, that is $60,000 after that time. So that means that if you use the 4% rule, or if you just want to take distributions, you can pay yourself much more than $1,200 a year just from this $1,200 being invested. So in 40 years, I can start withdrawing thousands of dollars each year from my investments, and it will do quite well for me. Even if you want to assume there's some inflation, 2% a year, that's still $28,000. That being said, you might be able to get a better rate of return even because the market's down right now. So if we're down 30%, let's say, which is pretty accurate, we've had a little bit of a rebound the last couple days, but if we're down 30% and you put this in the stock market, let's say it rebounds back to normal and then it goes 10% every year after that, that means you're closer to investing with $1,700 or $1,800. Let's say it's $1,700 because the stock market's so much less expensive. That boosts up how much you make. So let's say the market, you invest right now and the market's down 30%, and then it goes back up. So the $1,200 is now worth $1,700 or something like that. And let's say you're my age and you just decide, okay, I'm gonna invest another $3,000 a year on top of that. Not a ton of money, but it's a decent amount over time. let's say you just invest in your company, a 401k, then they match. That would be 1.5 million over the next 41 years. So even if you want to account for inflation, 882,000. So this might be a great time to start investing because the market is less expensive. Even short term, your returns are most likely going to be really good in the next year or so. Once we get over this and companies start opening up, you'll see your returns go a lot higher, especially if you don't need the money in the short term. That's a good solution. I know for me, I'm going to invest more in some of the companies that I have been investing in my M1 portfolio. I'll link one of the videos here if you want to watch some of the companies that I'm investing in. But I've been investing every day, or pretty much every day, for the last 3 weeks or so. And yeah, for the first couple days or first couple weeks, I saw my balance go further and further down. But I'm looking at these companies saying these are great companies. They're going to make a lot of money after the coronavirus is kind of gone away with, and the fact that I can buy them at 50 cents on the dollar, 30 cents on the dollar, it's amazing. So as long as they don't go bankrupt, I'm going to make a lot of money on these companies. For example, the airlines, I don't think that the government will let the airlines go bankrupt, so I invest money in them. They've done quite well over the last couple days, and every day that the market goes down, I just get better deals. Every day it goes up, it just makes me feel better that I had invested when it went down. So there's really no bad solution for that. If you want to go with something a little less risky, you can just go in the index fund, an index fund that tracks the 500 biggest companies, and that will be a lot more stable over time, a lot less work, and that also will produce some good returns. So that is what I'm going to be doing with my stimulus check. I'm going to be investing in some individual companies and just getting excited to watch my return go higher up over time. One other solution that you could do is if you are saving for a down payment, this is probably the best solution. Let's say you needed $12,000 for a down payment on a house. This $1,200 would be 10% of that. If you could do something like a duplex and then live in one side for free and then rent out the other, you might be able to save yourself, $1,000 a month if you could live in it for free as opposed to renting, which 10% of that $1,000 a month would be $100. Over the 12 months is $1,200, so you'd basically be getting 100% rate of return on that $1,200 stimulus check from here on out. Plus you'd be building up equity and paying down the loan, and the house would most likely appreciate over time too. So that, along with starting a business, if you have something that you want to get started but and you think it will make money and you've proved that it could make money, you just need some money to get the website started or buy a camera or something like that. Those are probably the most rewarding things you can do with your money, but higher risk too, and more work. So that's why I'm going with the investing side. I think that I can get a really good return, and it requires a lot less effort than starting a new business or something like that. I'm really excited about these companies, and this is the first time that I've seen a lot of these companies go down in value since I've started investing a couple of years ago. So I'm excited to do that. If you guys like this kind of stuff, please like the video, subscribe, maybe show it to someone that you know that might be interested in this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.